On the 17th of June 2021, Runescape Mobile was finally released after being in development for years. I personally thought it would be a success, boosting the average player count much like Steam's release. Despite having 1.8 million pre-registers, it didn't quite give the boost I expected. Why? Whenever you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Just one day before RuneScape Mobile's release, I made a video talking about why I think RuneScape Mobile would be a success. Now, success is incredibly subjective, and I have no idea what their goal was, but it was a big step for RuneScape according to Mod Warden. But success could be another 10,000 new players, it could be more players on average playing on the mobile client. I have no clue. Now, there were two reasons or examples I mentioned in that video as to why I thought it would be a success. Those were OSRS Mobile and the Steam launch for RuneScape 3. Both of these updates increased the average player count by a huge amount, and specifically OSRS Mobile pretty much doubled the player base on average, and peaks went up 4 times higher than normal. Sadly, this didn't happen with RuneScape Mobile. The peak player count was only 10,000 players higher, and that pretty much instantly dropped off, and the average increase was only 2,000 or 3,000 players. Now, that still isn't a fail, like it increased the player count, but it wasn't that significant, at least when compared to the Steam launch for RuneScape, which is the main comparison you could make. And the reason for that is probably due to launch day and the fact that most players, on Android at least, already had access to the game for almost 2 years. And players that had access since the closed beta already had access since 2018. So you can see why there wasn't a huge increase in players, because the majority of existing RuneScape members already had access to mobile. Now, on release day, I believe RuneScape Mobile had around a 2.4 average star rating, which is basically terrible. It's terrible. Anything below a 4 for mobile games is bad. Like, there's no 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. You either have 4 stars and above, or your game is crap. So 2.4 stars for a game like RuneScape didn't look very good, despite having those 1.8 million pre-registered players. I'm also fairly certain that it's bad for the algorithm, as the lower average stars you have, the less Google Play or the iOS App Store would probably push it in the recommendations for players playing similar games, which is a death sentence on the App Store. Now, on Google Play, if you take a look at the reviews, you can see there are over 9.5 thousand reviews, and the majority of those are actually 5-star ratings, which is good. But the second most common rating is 1 star. The vast majority of these 1-star reviews are players having issues getting into the game or experiencing crashes. And it's really hurting the average star rating of the game on Google Play. Thankfully though, on iOS it has a 4.1 star average, but both of these numbers are still lower than OSRS, which has a 4.8 average on the App Store and 4.4 on Google Play. The only reason the average star rating is higher now is because there are more 5-star reviews and it's slowly evening out, but 3.6 still isn't very good. One thing also worth mentioning is that all the beta reviews were wiped from the App Store, because that's what happens when a game actually releases. Now, initially I was planning to read through all of the 1-star reviews and categorize them based on their problems and put it in Excel and then show you guys a chart, but I am not able to see more reviews than like 20 of them. Not sure why, but it is what it is. Most of the complaints consist of people not being able to log in whatsoever, so not being able to even get into the game with a new character, people having issues creating an account on mobile, crashing at the character creator from the tutorial, crashing during another part of the tutorial, having a black screen in the tutorial, having a terrible frame rate on a high-end device, or characters not being able to move during the tutorial, and other graphical bugs and glitches, which I actually experienced myself as I played through the tutorial multiple times to see if I could encounter any of these bugs or issues, but I do have a newer device, being a Galaxy S10. Now, giving mobile players a good first impression of what the game is like is important. Having any kind of bugs or problems will put them off very quickly. Here's why.
Mobile players will generally make their decision within their first 5 minutes, so that's the critical time that we want to manage things for them. I mean, to an extent,
we need to sort of cater to everybody that we possibly can. Yes, we've got lots and lots of sort of active players who have been playing through the beta and their muscle memory is all there, but we've also got loads of people coming in that have never seen the game before, and we need to make sure that basically they're able to get into the game and it's a comfortable experience for them.
Now that second clip was taken slightly out of context as they were talking about the minimap location change on the mobile interface, but the point remains the same. The players need to get into the game, get a good first impression, and that all needs to happen within 5 minutes without any problems, because that's the average amount of time a mobile player will spend on a game to see if they like it. And although the mobile tutorial was a good tutorial, I think this is exactly what went wrong with RuneScape Mobile during the launch, as too many players were experiencing issues and something wasn't right or it wasn't optimized for all devices, ultimately leading to a ton of 1-star ratings, kicking down the average and making it seem as if RuneScape isn't that good of a game when compared to other games based on rating. But did mobile really fail? Or was it simply not as significant as players like myself expected it to be? I haven't heard much about mobile from Jagex since its launch, even though they said it was just the beginning. Now I don't think mobile failed, but it doesn't seem like it made a huge impact on the game overall. I do know there are mobile players out there and people using RuneScape Mobile every day to AFK or do their dailies. And it's definitely made a nice addition to the game for players to use or avoid depending on their preferences, and RuneScape is now cross-platform. So what do you think of RuneScape Mobile? Do you think it failed? Let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed and you want more RuneScape content, be sure to subscribe. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.